Hey friends, welcome back to the channel with more My Hero Academia. This is Season 2, Episode 24, the penultimate episode of the season. And yeah, it's gonna be Deku and Bakugo versus All Might. Seems highly unfair. Seems like they probably have no chance, especially considering that Bakugo wants nothing to do with Deku. He's probably not gonna want to do any teamwork. It's gonna be rough. Hopefully he can grow up a little and just work together. It's part of hero work. You have to learn to work together. You can't just go off on your own all the time. So hopefully, yeah, we'll see something better out of him. Hopefully All Might goes easy on them a little bit, just a tiny bit. Doesn't try to kill them. All right, looking forward to it. If you guys want to watch the full reaction or early reactions, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Otherwise, let's get started. This episode was incredible. I love this show, man. All Might, so incredibly brutal. I just kept thinking, like, what if he was actually a villain? He could just totally wreck the shit of all those heroes. And thank God for freaking Recovery Girl, because it feels like All Might practically broke Deku's back and did so much damage to Bakugo. Thank God for Recovery Girl. And now that I think about it, what a tremendous get by Principal Nezu to get Recovery Girl to work as a school nurse instead of her working in some ER or even employed by like multiple hero agencies as a healer in case things go sideways. Just very impressed that she works at UA of all places, where there's only that many how many students that are routinely injured. I guess some people probably have similar quirks. We've seen that sometimes quirks are inherited. Maybe Recovery Girl has children who do recovery work as well. I wonder if there's societal pressure for someone with a desirable quirk to procreate. Like, we need more healers, get to fucking. Or maybe the government offers her, Recovery Girl, some sort of deal for some of her eggs so that they could do surrogacy. And I wonder how Recovery Girl's quirk would combine with other quirks. Because, like, what if she had kids with somebody who had Midnight's power? Would their kid emit a gas that would put people to sleep and heal them? What if she had kids with somebody with Bakugo's power? Explosive healing or healing explosions? Can you imagine if Bakugo woke up one day and his explosions healed people? He'd be all like, die! And everybody's like, thank you for healing me. He'd be so mad. Anyway, speaking of surrogacy, I wonder if or how that's changed since quirks started appearing. I'll even include like the idea of sperm donors too. Do you specifically look for egg or sperm donors who have a quirk that would match up well with your own, to have the strongest possible kid? Because I don't know, that's similar to the idea of quirk marriages, except for it's better than quirk marriages arguably, because you don't have to pair two people together who, it's not an arranged marriage where like it's a relic of ancient times, right? Or not ancient times, but a relic of the past. Like Todoroki wouldn't have taken control of Shoto's mom and abused her. Like, she was stuck in that because he had lots of power and influence. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like surrogacy and sperm donor would be much better, but because we've seen Shoto's siblings, they weren't trained as hard as he was by Endeavor, because the ice fire balance wasn't the best, or some other reason. Two people with quirks can give birth to someone who doesn't have quirks too. So I guess sperm and egg donors isn't like a surefire way to have children who with specific quirks. And now that I think about it, would it be a super crazy conspiracy theory to think that All for One maybe has someone in a maternity ward or maybe a pediatrician to inform him about quirks worth taking, and then he would just steal it and then have the family think the child is quirkless when in fact their quirk was stolen from them? It's not out of the realm of possibility, right? If I was an evil freaking villain, I'd probably do something like that too. How did we get to the topic of stealing quirks of babies and sperm donors? Anyway, this show really has so many possibilities that I get like freaking super sidetracked sometimes. What was this episode about? Oh yeah, it's the Bakugo and Deku versus All Might. Wait, speaking of All for One though, what if he's able to steal one for all? Or does the fact that you have to willingly pass it down negate that? I don't know. And is he capable of giving All for One to somebody else? I'm getting sidetracked again. Anyway, Bakugo, Deku versus All Might. I was saying, thankfully, All Might is a hero and not a villain, because society would have crumbled if that was the case. And yeah, Bakugo did not want to listen to Deku at all. So hard-headed, so stubborn. And while it seemed like he was simply like overcome with emotion, thinking of attacking All Might head on, he did have some solid reasoning. Because if you run, All Might is just going to chase you down anyway with his blinding speed. Because he saw All Might's speed firsthand when All Might saved him from the Nomu attack at the USJ. He'd go a little far by saying he's going to toy with All Might till the time zone was over and then knock him unconscious. But he's hot-headed, but he's not stupid. So I guess he was possibly just jumping, like pumping himself up, spiking his adrenaline a bit maybe. Because that might be a strategy he has to make use of to make his heart rate run higher, make him sweat more. Actually, it was kind of stupid though. I guess he didn't feel like he had a choice. He thought he could pass the exam without working with Deku on some level. So his pride was a little just too much. Boy needs therapy for sure. Meanwhile, Recovery Girl said that Deku looks at All Might like he's a god and can't even fathom fighting him. But their teamwork is all-time bad at first. Bakugo punching Deku before they even can start a conversation. Honestly, I feel like it's possible Bakugo should just get a failing grade, even if he did technically pass, just for... Like, he did grow throughout the test, but he should have failed for just punching Deku out of nowhere. Though Deku did punch him out of nowhere later on too. To motivate him, though. But yeah, they started to get some teamwork going. I don't know. It feels like he barely made it because he finally decided, Deku finally convinced him to do some teamwork, even though teamwork was necessary to begin with. All Might did do a good job testing these bunch of newbies, and this is so much fun to watch, seeing All Might in this role, seeing him as a villain. He's terrifying. Deku said he had the presence of Stain, like similar to Stain. That was a really cool little tidbit. And yeah, it was nice to see Deku and Bakugo's relationship possibly growing. At least Bakugo was willing to work with him, even though he hated every moment of it. At first, he was saying how he'd rather lose than work with Deku, and Deku punched him in the freaking face. That was so funny. I don't even know why. It was just so hilarious. Such a great moment. He just flew in when All Might was about to finish Bakugo. Deku punched him in the face. He could have punched All Might in the face, but he punched Bakugo in the face instead. Yeah, Bakugo winds up giving him one of the gauntlets. That was a good move because of the angle that was animated, we saw that he was missing a gauntlet. But from All Might's angle, he might not have seen it since Bakugo was like hiding his left arm behind him. And Deku showing up behind All Might and blasting him to Kingdom Come. Wow. I wonder actually how many pro heroes will be able to withstand that attack. I'm guessing Endeavor would be fine with explosions, maybe. I think. I suppose All Might was the only one who could go against these two at this level, at the school. Just given how much raw power they have. I guess Aizawa can cancel both their quirks, so maybe him too. But yeah, it was ridiculous. But the Bakugo, All Might pinned him to the ground. He was all burnt out. Used his quirk to the maximum already without his gauntlets. And then he's out there like putting out mini explosions, biting All Might's hand, unwilling to lose. The boy has so much tenacity. And Deku, he was injured a lot by that hit to the back, and he turned around though when he could have easily ran to the exit. He was just like, screw wind conditions. He can't help but save everybody in front of him. We saw him leaping towards Bakugo the same way he leaped towards Bakugo with that slime villain in the first episode of the series. I just hope it doesn't get the worst of him eventually, because ideally going through the gate would be the best way to win and stop everything, stop Bakugo from getting hurt. But like actually going for Bakugo puts himself in danger of losing, because if All Might had sensed him coming, he could have hit him into the ground and they'd both lose. So yeah, I hope his drive to save everybody no matter what doesn't come back to bite him at some point, doesn't come back to have him beaten senseless somehow. But yeah, spectacular final fight for this exam, for these final exams. It doesn't have as much emotion as, like, say, Todoroki versus Deku in the sports festival, but the sheer power we see exhibited by All Might is so fun to watch, and just how brutal he was with fighting his students. Jeez. And so yeah, final exams all wrapped up. I got one wrong. Mineta passed. Mineta and Sero. Do not like that. Boo. Freaking Mineta. Hate him so much. Don't know what this last episode of this season will be, because they can't start and finish an arc in one episode. Maybe it's like a side story or filler episode. Guess we'll see. So yeah, we saw Shigaraki at the end of this episode, though, bringing in some new possible recruits. They came because of Stain. We saw them in snippets from previous episodes when I think it was the aftermath of Stain, where people were like being excited by him, being excited to join the League of Villains, possibly to be associated with Stain. Because yeah, Stain has a lot of charisma and would wake something up inside people. The guy who looks like he burned his face somehow, like the jaw and under his eyes. He's here. The girl, we saw her murder somebody last time. There was like a huge spew of blood, right? She seems very, very chipper, so big contrast in personality and the actions she takes. So we're building up for a confrontation next season, possibly between the League of Villains and our heroes again. Looking forward to it. Yeah, this season's been great. I'm looking forward to seeing how it wraps up next time. All right, 9.5. Love this episode so much. Yeah, looking forward to more. If you want to watch the full reaction or see reactions a week early, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Come check out our Discord as well. We talk about everything, anything, whatever you want. I'll include in the comments below too. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye, friends.